Well, good morning and welcome to Vision. I'm so glad you all are joining us here in the room. And those of you that are joining us online, I am so glad you're here. You are in for a really good time. Let's stand together and celebrate being together.
Welcome, Vision. Wherever you are, you need to know it is Comic-Con weekend here in San Diego. So welcome to that. Welcome to the energy of cosplay. We are here to pray with you and for you wherever you are. And have joy. Experience joy while we're doing it. I have my lasso of truth, so it's going to be a really honest weekend this weekend. But before we do anything else, let's pray in. I give great thanks for this day, for everything in it, for all of the fun, for the joy of God expressing through us, for knowing that we are one. And wherever we go and whoever we see, we know that that is an outpicturing of the divine. We know the beloved lives within each and every one of us, so everyone we meet is the divine in form. I give great thanks for this. I give thanks for Spirit, for its playfulness, for allowing us to play as us in the world, to be those emanations of Spirit, individualized, expressing uniquely, just as we are, knowing and accepting that we are here for a divine purpose, that there are 7.5 billion of us, each one of us needed and necessary, or we wouldn't be here. So I rejoice. I rejoice in seeing God everywhere I look, in everyone I see. I know it is all God, and I know it is all good, and so it is. So, if this is your first time tuning in for Vision, I apologize. If this is your first time here, we enjoy celebrating. I think we celebrate everything here at Vision, don't we? John, right? We celebrate everything. So this is Comic-Con weekend, and welcome. And next year, this is like the first time in 2 years we've done this, because last year and the year before that, there was no Comic-Con. The last one was 2019, so yay, we're just getting back into it. So next year, remember, Comic-Con weekend, come as your favorite superhero. You can just dress up too. There's nothing that says you can't, right? You just come in everything. Oh my gosh, it's just too much fun. So, Well, that reminds me then, Halloween is just in another couple of months, so start thinking. Start thinking, because there will be costumes. We celebrate that too. Let me tell you about Vision. We are a center for joyful living, apparently. We're a center for spiritual living. We are here to know of ourselves and each other as spirit and form, which is the truth of us. Ernest Holmes said just really 3 things in his entire ministry, right? That we are in this reflective universe, that it responds to our predominant thoughts and it outpictures accordingly. And we know this is true, so it's in our best interest to have the highest thought we can about ourselves and others. And sometimes you don't have that, do you? Sometimes you miss it, or you lose it, or you misplace it. We have licensed spiritual counselors. We have practitioners here. Practitioners, raise your hand. Let everybody know where you are and who you are. Look around the room. Look at all these beautiful faces. These practitioners are here to hold the light for us, to know the truth for us, and to pray with us and for us all week. So you have a prayer request form. Fill it out. There are prayer boxes that the practitioners have. They carry around with them. You can just drop it in there. If you put your phone number on, we'll give you a call at home and pray with you over the phone, or leave a prayer on your voicemail if you would like that, so you could listen to it several times. Why? Because prayer changes things, right? Prayer changes things because prayer changes us, really. We become more clear. We become those clear vessels that Ernest Holmes spoke of, that spirit can just flow through unimpeded and change conditions around us. So do that. Get prayer. My online Vision friends, there is a meet and greet room at the end of our celebration. Stay, hang out, go into the Zoom meet and greet room. We have practitioners there as well who can go to a breakout room one-on-one for you and have prayer online. If you are here for the annual meeting at the end of celebration, we will have practitioners there too. We can go to one of the classrooms and you can get one-on-one prayer as well. Wherever you are, online, in the room, however you would like to be prayed for, on the phone, we've got you covered. We have you covered because we know absolutely that prayer changes things. So do that. What else have I got to tell you? Oh, I know. I have a welcome packet. You'll see them in the front on the welcome table. You'll see them in the back on the welcome table. Wherever you are, you'll see one of these. It's a welcome packet. Please pick one up and share with your friends if you are already a member. If you already have committed everything inside this envelope to memory, give it to someone who doesn't know about us and let them come into this center of love and joy and absolute diversity and inclusion. You ready? You ready to do this? Because we have a greeting and we say it all together. Okay, you with me? Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here. You are safe and you are loved. Now I'm going to turn it over to my celebration singers. Oh, that's right. I'm not going to do that. You know, I got all caught up because it was Comic-Con weekend, but it is also San Diego Pride Month. Oh my gosh. And we have a pride moment here, and so I want to bring up one of our delightful members, Jonelle. Come on up. He's going to do our pride moment. Thank you so much.
Hey, everyone. Well, when I was writing this, I got quite emotional, and I've been emotional the last couple days. So I just want to tell you about the person that I'm spotlighting today, and this is very personal for me because I wouldn't be here today if this person basically had to save my life, and that's why it's so personal for me. In 2016, after the Pulse Orlando massacre, I was very angry, depressed, anxious, hypervigilant, which means looking around me all the time. It made me and for that entire year, that was the way I was. It was devastating for me. So at that time, I'd struggled with depression and anger and anxiety, all these different things. And that's something I'd struggled with throughout my life. But the 18 years after the AIDS epidemic discontinued or stopped. And I was out of a job because I'd moved back from Mexico, so I didn't really have a way to access like mental health care. So in 2017, I got a job and I started working for a really good company, had really great benefits, but I was still feeling not feeling right. And I was feeling like, if this is the way I'm going to feel for the rest of my life, I don't know if I want to do it. But I was smart enough, I'm a nurse, and I'd worked in mental health, so I said, you know, I need to see somebody, so I started seeing a therapist. And she helped me a lot. She gave me a lot of tools to actually deal with my depression and my anger and a lot of other things. And I was working for a company that provides services for healthcare organizations, so for example, Sharp Healthcare or Scripps. And we started working on creating case management programs for some public health plans in Florida. And one of these was creating HIV case management care programs. And so we were working on creating the staffing for this, and I was really concerned because they were saying for the high-risk patients, we would provide nurse case managers. For the medium and low, we would provide non-licensed staff. And for me, I used to be a HIV case manager in Chicago years ago, and that was really concerning to me because patients can have side effects from the medication, or the medication doesn't work. And so it was really concerning to me. So I started researching online for HIV case management programs, and this page popped up called Let's Kick ASS, AIDS Survivor Syndrome .hiv, and I started looking on the page and looked at the symptoms, and all the symptoms were depression and hypervigilance and anxiety and social isolation and all these, and suicidality, which was a real concern for me. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been experiencing for the last 18 years. This is what's been causing all this for me the last 18 years. And my first thought was there was just this flood of relief and understanding. This is what's been going on all this time. And my first thought was, I have to tell my job, because the nurses who are going to work with these patients, they need to know to address this with the patients. And my second thought was, there have to be other people out here who feel like this, feel like I do, and I have to help them. And at the time, I was working at the LGBT Senior Center in Chicago, and I asked them, I said, I want to start a support group for people who have this syndrome. And this is something that's been validated in a study in 2017, a part of what's called the MAX study, the multi-AIDS cohort study that concluded in 2017. So it's been validated as an actual syndrome. And so they were open to it, and then 2 months later, I started a support group that I ran for the last 3 years. I just concluded it. It's still running, but I'm not the lead of the group anymore. Okay, 1 second. And one thing I want you to know, I experience AIDS survivor syndrome, but it says AIDS survivor. What they found is it can affect anyone who lived through the AIDS epidemic. So if you're HIV positive, you're negative, if you were a caregiver, if you were a family member, if you were friends of somebody, or you had many friends who died, anyone can experience it. And not everyone does, but they found in the study that equally people who are positive and negative can experience it. And the other thing that I did is during this time, I actually contacted the person who we'll see in just a second, Tez Anderson, to let him know that that he had basically saved my life and that I wanted to start a group. And it took a little time because I was using the wrong email, and when we finally spoke, he said, I think that's a really great idea, Joe. And within that time, I actually went out to San Francisco and I met him. And all I can say is this man, he's such a wonderful man. You might know him. His name used to be Terry Anderson, and he was the partner of Armistead Maupin, who wrote all the Tales of the City books. And he was intimately involved in the miniseries and actually with I don't know if you ever saw the movie, The Night Listener. And I went out and met him and visited with him, and that's the reason why I chose him as the LGBT activist, because basically I'm here because of him.
Do we have that slide?
Yeah. You sure?
Can't find it.
That's okay. I've got all the information. Okay, Tess Anderson is the founder and executive director of Let's Kick ASS, which is AIDS Survivor Syndrome, the movement for HIV long-term survivors. He's a writer, speaker, and longtime AIDS activist, and an HIV long-term survivor. At 63, he has been living with HIV since 1983. In 2013, he founded Let's Kick ASS, AIDS Survivor Syndrome. And you can find that information at letskickass.hiv. And it's a nonprofit empowering HIV long-term survivors to thrive. He coined the term AIDS survivor syndrome to describe the psychological aftermath unique to people who lived through the early AIDS epidemic. In 2014, Tez started HIV Long-Term Survivors Awareness Day every June 5th to celebrate the resilience of people living longest with HIV and AIDS. He came out publicly as HIV positive in 1990 in People magazine. He's the subject of a 2018 10-minute documentary on NBC's Today Show. He's appeared on NPR's Fresh Air with Terry Gross, ABC's 2020, and in documentaries on BBC TV. Britain's Channel 4. He has written for Time, Pause, and other publications. He's on the expert advisory committee for the Association of, this is really hard to read, sorry guys. Association of Nurses in AIDS Care, developing the evidence-based evidence-based to help healthcare providers care for aging patients living with HIV.
And what is the email that we can contact if we need?
It's letskickass.hiv.
Thank you.
Okay, and one last thing. And one thing to remember during Pride Month, remember the ones you've lost. Remember the profound loss that the LGBT community experienced and the loss and grief that members of our community experience to this day. Give them a smile and a hug. You don't know what impact that may have on them. They might just need it. And for the women in our audience, know that we understand the impact of the rulings today because we've been criminalized ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. And now I'm going to turn it over to our celebration singers. They're going to sing our centering song and prepare us for our 5-minute meditation. Thank you.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. still and know that you are. Be still and know that you are God. Be still and know. Be still and know that we are God. Be still and know that we are. Be still and know that we are God. Be still and know. Be still and know that we are God. Be still and know that we are. Be still and know that we are God. Be still and know.
Good morning. My name is Marcus Gilliland, and I am a practitioner here at Vision. Please take these quotations into your heart as we move into the silence and allow the tones of the bull to bring you into and out of the 5-minute meditation. Thank you, TK. This first quote is from Robin Hoffman. I will dance in the rain and laugh as hard as I can and let myself feel all the good stuff life has to offer. And Ernest Holmes, our founder, there is only one power, one life, God, the good. That life is the life of everyone. There is nothing to fear, for the divine surrounds and is in everything and everyone. And just remaining in that beautiful, quiet space. That space that is full of the essence and the truth of the one power and the one grace that is everywhere present. That power and the grace, that love of God. Unlimited in its capacity to know and to be and to express. To express love, to express joy and power and grace and ease. Peace and love. This power and this grace and this love that shows up to us in a multitude of ways, in superheroes, in heroes of the community, heroes in the home, heroes within our own consciousness. I'm blessed to have the lasso of truth before me, reminding me of that ability to speak the truth. So I do. I speak the truth as I know it, knowing that because God is everywhere, because this one life is everywhere present, that means it's right here where I am. It is impossible for me to be separated from it. And as this is true for me, I know this is true for every individual in this room, everyone in this neighborhood, in this city, in this county, in this state, all over the world. There is nothing that can get in between the God presence and the individual. For each individual is a manifestation of this power and this presence and this love. God chose to hear through those ears, through those eyes, to feel with those hearts, to breathe with those lungs. And I know that this is good. And so I do embrace the joy of life. I do embrace the joy of being able to express myself freely, knowing that this gift is given to all. And I know that this gift is further given through the words of Patti today, through the music of Andy and the band and our celebration singers, that this joy and this peace is exhibited through the volunteers, every single volunteer that shows up to get the work done here at Vision. And that indeed Vision is an outpouring of this truth, of prosperity, of joy, and the practical application of these spiritual teachings. And return to the source that there is only one thing happening, that is the life of God. And it cannot be stopped. And that is a good thing. So I give great thanks for this revelation. I give great thanks for this day. I give great thanks for this place called Vision, where I can express and be myself in absolute safety. And with that, I just simply release these words into the infinite loving law of mind, knowing that all is well, all is done, and so it is. Amen.
Today we have our always special guest here. He's here more than anybody else, and that's for good reason. Besides Patti, we have more. Andy Anderson.
I don't know what I'm supposed to think about that.
The croonin' Honoluluan.
He's here more than anybody else. Well, good. That means you're going to give me excuses, right? So I called all the way to Arkansas to find some music for today. I hope you like them. And if you don't, call Arkansas. The question is why? Why are we here? To say our hellos and goodbyes and disappear. This beautiful life, what is it for? To learn how to master peace or to master war. There's only one answer that matters, even if your heart has been shattered. Whatever you want, whatever you are after, love is still the answer. if you want.
Love, love, love.
We all make mistakes. No, we're not perfect yet. Maybe God made us all from an accident. And the question that sits on everyone's lips is, why should we pick ourselves up and start over again? There's only one answer that matters, even if your heart has been shattered. Whatever you want, whatever you are after, love is still the answer. Love is still the answer. Love, 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 love. Love, love, love. The question I'll ask at the end of my days is, what did I give, or what will I take? There's only one answer that matters, even if your heart and your dreams are shattered. Whatever you want, whatever you are after, love is still the answer. Love is still the answer. Love, 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 love. Come on, sing it with me. Everybody. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. One more time. Love, 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 love. Love is still the answer. Thank you. I'll be back again, because you know that, right?
Yes, you will. So we are still in the month of Living Everyday Wonder relationships. I love that, relationships. And today's talk is what now? Because when we started the month, we talked about me, myself, and I am, right? The I am that is us. We discussed our spiritual selves, and then we danced the divine dance. We danced with that relationship with universal intelligence, which is really flowing through us all the time as well. And last week, we decided to check in with each other, right? With, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Forget about it. Anyway. So we put all this great information together in this month of relationships. Our inner relationships, our outer relationships, our relationships with ourselves, with our higher self. So so this week is, okay, so now? What do we do with it? What do we do with all this information? How do we proceed? What do we do next? What now? And Wayne Dyer said this, I love this. He said, one individual who lives and vibrates to the energy of pure love and reverence for all life will counterbalance the negativity of 750,000 individuals who calibrate at lower weakening levels. That's huge. That is like huge, right? So I had to research that. I had to go back because I saw the quote by Wayne Dyer, but I thought, he didn't really do the research, right? So where did he get this information from? And he got the information from the work that David Hawkins did way back when, right? You remember Power versus Force? That was an old book. And then the Eye of the I. He wrote several books. He was a research scientist and then a spiritualist and just all kinds of stuff. Well, Hawkins' work refers to the energy that we're immersed in, right? Our own energy. And the higher the level of energy we can be in, energies like love and joy and peace, right? They vibrate at higher levels. They vibrate at healing levels. This was the basis for Hawkins' work. And lower levels of energy, like self-loathing, rage, fear, jealousy, they vibrate at lower levels, and they are very disempowering to us. And you know this, right? I mean, we know it, we feel it. The bottom line is, when we're just immersed in joy all the time, when we're just immersed in love all the time, in freedom, we're empowering. It's actually healing energies, not only for ourselves, but for those around us, for those who come into our bubble, the ones who wind up wandering into our energy field. It makes them feel better as well. And the same is true for the lower energies, right? Lower energies that vibrate at lower levels, it's disempowering. It does nothing for us, and it certainly is disruptive to our bodies as well. And really, it does nothing for the folks around us either. So it is in our best interest, physically, psychologically, socially, to maintain those higher levels of feeling, those higher levels of being. When you wake up in the morning and you're loving your body and you're loving your sleep. Ernest Holmes said this, he said, no man can demonstrate peace and cling to unhappiness. He can demonstrate resignation and call it peace, but it will not be peace. So this is a big difference, right? So back to Wayne Dyer's quote, right? These higher levels that counteract the negativity in other people. I just love that thought, Greg Braden, in his book, The Divine Matrix, said that there's an actual equation. I love this kind of research that these people do, and every time you'll go back to well, where did you find it from? They don't know. Anyway, he came up with an actual equation for how many people it takes to change the world. And I love this, right? How many people does it take to change the world? How many of us have to meditate on peace, have to dwell in peace, have to dwell in unconditional love to change the world? And what he came up with was, the square root of 1% of the Earth's population, all thinking peace and love at the same time, will change the world. And so I did the math. And the square root of 1% of the world's population right now stands about 8,660 of us. 8,660 of us, that's all we need, right? We got a room right here, a room full of people of unconditional love, We just need to go out in the community more and we need to gather up a couple of thousand people, we got it made, right? Yeah, 1%, right? Because you figure there's 7.5 billion of us, okay, so 1% of that, and then the square root of that number, it brought me to 8,660 people. That is not a lot of people. Yeah, it's a stadium full. We should do that. We should rent a stadium. Thank you, Reverend Sam. Get a stadium. Get 8,666 people. We're all meditating on peace at the same time. It can change the world. Now, years ago, Ernest Holmes wrote that all we need is half, right? He just said 51% think and meditate on peace and love, and it'll change the world. Well, that's a lot bigger number. I'm going with the 8,600 myself. I think that'd be better. But you see where we're going with this. It's like the more people that resonate in joy, in love, in unconditional acceptance, the more people that dwell in those energies, it changes the world. at least you're part of it. It'll change your corner of it, right? When you dwell in love and joy, and everybody that comes into your room, everybody that comes into your bubble is met with love and joy, just unconditional acceptance, it'll change that person's life. It'll change your life. It'll change your little corner of the world. And so we all do that. It changes the world little by little. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, the peacemakers are called the children of God. We never associate warriors with the divine kingdom. Struggle and strife are outside of the kingdom. They cannot enter because of their confusion. Only peace can enter the gates of reality and sit at the table of love. The divine host serves not its bounty to confusion, but distributes its gifts to those who enter its gates with peace in their minds and love in their hearts. So this is how we have to enter the kingdom, right? With peace in our minds and love in our hearts. This is the way our prayers are answered. This is the way when we resonate with these higher levels, when we're resonating with all of those qualities of God, we are that. We are in alignment with that. So, faced with all this information, you have to think, okay, I get it. Happy, better than sad. Okay, got it. Peaceful, better than chaotic. All right, I got it. So, now what? Right? So now what? Well, we make these affirmations to ourselves, right? It's like I cannot tell you how many times I get up in the morning and I pray and I meditate, right? And we're just feeling all sorts of peaceful and serene, and I'm loving everybody, and everybody that comes across my consciousness is accepted with pure love and pure joy, and I'm vibrating at that high level, and then I leave the house. Right? And then everything goes to hell. Do you ever have one of those mornings, right? I can't even pull out of my driveway before I'm annoyed by a neighbor or by the trash collection or by the construction going on there, putting a pool in next door. They actually jackhammer at 7 o'clock in the morning. You can do that, right? Anyway, so I haven't even started driving yet, and already I got my grump on. Did you ever get your grump on? Oh, good Lord, right? And have you ever gotten up in the morning and you just wake up grumpy? What is that about? Oh my God, what do you do with that, right? You just wake up, nothing's even happened. I'm not even out of bed yet and I'm grumpy. What is that? I don't know. Maybe it's my New York upbringing. Anybody else wake up in a grump for like no reason at all, just no reason? Good night's sleep, everything's fine. You wake up and you're just grouchy. I think maybe it's from my New York thing. We went to New York. I was in New York in 2019, and my kids didn't believe me. I was like, oh, no, they're all grouchy. And they didn't believe me. They went into a 7-Eleven. They were like, we're going to prove it to you. And they went into a 7-Eleven, and they were buying something, I don't know, and they went up to the cashier, and they went, good morning. How's everything? Hey, how you doing this beautiful sunny morning? And the guy behind the counter went, why? And they just looked at me, and I went, yeah, see, that's it. It's a New York thing. What are you going to do? But we have to change that, right? You have to change that thinking in order to, not wake up grumpy. You have to check in with yourself. Why am I grumpy? I had a good night's sleep. I slept well. Everything's fine. Why am I grumpy? And Ernest Holmes says that this philosophy addresses that. But we have to practice this philosophy. We can't just read the book. We can't just come to Sunday talk, right? Even the classes, it doesn't make it enduring unless we practice the principles. We have to practice the principles. No way around it. We have to do the work. If we're going to change our thinking, change our lives, and Ernest Holmes said clearly this philosophy can do that for us, we have to practice the principles. And one of the big principles is meditate. And even if you wake up with your grump on, take your grump to meditation, Just sit on the meditation pillow grumpy. It's okay. Nobody's judging you about this. Nobody's rating you on your, well, you know what? That's not true. Sometimes you are rating yourself on your meditations. Did you ever do that? Oh my gosh, sometimes I have these wonderful meditations and I come out of them and I'm thinking, my feet aren't even on the ground. I am like levitating. It's great. God and I are one. I can speak my word. I can move mountains. And then I want all of my meditations to be like that, right? You do, don't you? You go back into meditation the next day and you're like, come on, bring it on, make it good. And sometimes it's not. It's sitting in meditation that counts. It's not what you do. It's not what you think. It's not having to clear your mind and empty your thoughts and all of that, all of those rules that they tell you about. It's the practice. It is the practice. Just sitting in the quiet. Just sitting in the quiet and getting still enough and hearing the still small voice of Spirit. It is Spirit speaking to you through you. And you know, it's like walking in the woods, right? You know, the birds are singing all the time, but we don't hear them here. We don't hear them when we're outside. We got the freeway noise, we got this noise, we got things on our minds, we're doing stuff. You don't hear the birds. The birds are singing all the time. But it's only until we get out into the quiet. It's only when we get out into the forest that we can hear the songs of the birds. Same thing with the still small voice. Too much stuff going on. So we have to take the time out to meditate. We have to hear that still small voice. And then the second thing we have to do is pray. Daily pray. Even if everything's okay, you know, it's like we're not praying, we're not begging God for stuff, right? We know that. That's not what affirmative prayer is about. We pray affirmative prayer. We speak our word with positive intention. We are not handing God a wish list. Remember the movie The Secret? Remember, it's like, hey, just give, deliver your list to God and it'll be delivered to your front door. God is not Amazon, you know? It's not that. It is not that. It's not a wish fulfillment center. It is about praying and aligning ourselves with the power and presence that is. We're not begging God for favors. We're not begging God for favors. Do something for me you wouldn't do for him. We're not doing that. We are speaking our word with the exact same power and authority that Spirit is. Why? Because we are that. Because we are that. Whatever Spirit is, all of those qualities that Spirit is, it flows through us. We are made of the same stuff. And so when we align with that power and presence, and we speak our word, mountains do move. We speak with that same power and authority. That is affirmative prayer. That is affirmative prayer, to acknowledge the gift has already been given, and we are saying yes to Spirit. And then there are affirmations. We have to have our affirmations every day. Give us an affirmation, Robin.
Radiant, vibrant, dynamic.
Radiant, vibrant, dynamic. I am radiant, vibrant, dynamic. I love you. You're my affirmation woman, right? Affirmations, present tense, powerful, positive, passionate, purposeful, all those P words. I love it. It's an alliteration. Affirming the positive, always, always affirming the positive. And in the present tense, it's not I'm gonna, or someday I will, or whatever, because that's like the carrot and the stick, right? You're always putting it out in front of yourself. You're never manifesting it because it's always in the future. There is no future. There's only now. Right? There is only the now. The I am exists right here in this present moment. So when you say, I am radiant, vibrant, and dynamic, I am. The I am is that. And then we are as well. Right? We have to affirm the positive always, even if we can't see it. Even if it's not made itself manifest yet, we know it's there. Why? Because it's in the mind of God. Because God is all of that. So that whatever it is, even if you're not experiencing, you know it exists in the invisible realm, and it's waiting on your welcome. It is waiting on your acceptance to make itself known in the physical world. And we have a lot of problems, challenges with speaking affirmatively a lot of times. Did you ever listen to people talk? They can be really, really negative. And you know who the worst ones are? The ones who speak to themselves. Do you ever speak you speak negatively to yourself a lot, don't you? Sometimes it's like you wouldn't speak to other people the way you speak to yourself sometimes, right? You get that, oh God, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that, right? And we speak so negatively to ourselves. No wonder, our affirmations don't outpicture immediately because we're yes, this is who I am. Oh God, I'm so stupid. It's like we go back and forth. I can't do anything right. Oh my God, if I sold coffins, people would stop dying. It's like, holy moly. we're such a failure. It's like, speak only positive affirmations. Make it present tense. Make it now. Absolutely know the truth for yourself. You're a divine being, and all of those qualities of God are within you and out picturing as you all the time. And the more you affirm them, I am powerful and radiant and dynamic. The more you affirm them, the more they begin to free up and flow through you. Reminds me of the sap in the tree. Oh my God. I had a jacaranda tree in my backyard from this big, and it never bloomed. I never had those beautiful purple blooms. I couldn't believe it. And my friend, Anne, our licensed practitioner, she said, oh, the sap is stuck. All you need to do is take a wooden rolling pin and just beat the trunk up and down. And I went, sure. But what the heck, right? I gave it a shot because why not? It was 10 years, the thing never bloomed. And I went out in the backyard and I hoped nobody was watching me. And I beat the poor trunk with a wooden rolling pin. 10 days later, that thing is full bloomed. Right? It is in full bloom. So there you go. Now, I'm not suggesting that as like when we're stuck. Don't do that when we're stuck. But affirmations do that. They unstick, right, the energy in us, and they allow it to flow. So do that. Use your affirmations as if it were a wooden rolling pin and unstick yourself, right? Because those qualities have to flow through us out into the world. So we have to unstick ourselves, much like the tree. Anyway, the other thing I want to tell you is mind the gap. Mind the gap. That's an expression in England, right? Those of you have traveled over there, and they're talking about the step between the platform and the train. But we're calling it the gap, God's area of preparation. God's area of preparation. You want to be mindful of the gap. Take a breath. Take a breath between cause and effect. Take a breath between condition and response. Take a breath between the event and the reaction. Count to 10. Shut your eyes if you have to. Whatever it takes to give yourself just a time out when something comes at you, when something happens, when some unexpected bill shows up, when something just unexpected comes up. Remember to respond. Take the breath. Count to 10, breathe, remember to breathe, and respond without reacting, right? Reacting is that instantaneous, we lose our minds. We just lose our minds when something unexpected happens because we think we're in control, which is another funny story. Anyway, so what we do is we just react. So take the breath, mind the gap, God's area of preparation. Breathe in, breathe out. Say, this is interesting. What am I going to do with this? Well, God will tell you. God will tell you. Remember the story of the cup of coffee, right? When you get your coffee and you turn around to walk away from the countertop and somebody bumps into you, what happens? Coffee spills all out. Coffee spills all over you. You're a mess. Well, why? Why did the coffee spill all over you? And you would say, because the guy bumped into me. That's why. That guy that wasn't watching, wasn't paying attention, and he bumped into me and coffee went all over. No, the coffee went all over because that's what was in your cup. That's what was in your cup. So what's in you when you get bumped, when you get jostled, when something happens to you unexpectedly, what comes pouring out of you? Right? Is it love? Is it joy? Is it unconditional acceptance? Is it one of those qualities? Or is it, I'm going to kill something, What's in your cup? What's in your body? Because we all get jostled. So mind the gap. And then the other thing is gratitude. Oh, gratitude. Isn't gratitude a healer? Oh my gosh, when I turn my mind to gratitude, it just changes the whole world. Everything changes. Be grateful for all the good in your life. Count your blessings. In the morning, even if you wake up with your grump on, you can still count your blessings, right? You lay there until the grump is gone. It passes. Because everything passes. So you count your blessings, you count your toes, you count the fact that you can move your legs and your feet and you can get up and your hands work. Count your blessings. Decide to be content. Decide to be content, It's one of the greatest things we can do is to be grateful all the time. And then the other thing you want to do, the other practice is inhabit your kingdom of happiness. Get what you want, and then want what you got. Right? You know how we're all always on that treadmill? We get this, we get that goal, we attain this, there's something else, there's something else, there's something else we always want. Inhabit your kingdom of happiness, right? So that when you look around and you're grateful of all the things you have, want the things you've got, want them. You know, we have a tendency to want and want and want and want, and then when we get it, we're like, yeah, whatever, you know, and not be grateful for it and not value it and not really love it. So decide to be content, decide to be joyful, decide to be happy for now. Inhabit your kingdom of happiness. It's in you, it's within you. And then we realize that that's all we have anyway. All we have anyway is what's within us. That's the only thing we have, right? You control what goes on in your head. Nobody else does. You're the only occupant up there. You know, and so when other people are in there and they're living rent-free and they're making you miserable and they're upsetting you and you're thinking all sorts of grumpy thoughts about them, evict them. You are the only one occupying that space between your ears. Make it peaceful, make it content, make it happy. You've got control over that piece of real estate. You're the only one that does. Make it a wonderful place to be. You are all you have. You are all you have. Give up the expectations of changing others. You know, I know. You're sitting there going, you hear that? Did you hear that? Give up expectations of change. You know how hard it is just to change yourself. You know how hard this work is, right? Man, we're spending a lifetime doing this spiritual journey, doing these spiritual practices, proving these principles to ourselves. It's enough for me to just make an honest change in one of my own behaviors. We're not changing other people. We can pray them. We can pray them up. And then just let whatever happens, happens. Ernest Holmes says this. I love it. He said, here's a hard saying. We cannot always please our fellow man. Human experience has taught that this is impossible. What attitude, then, are we to assume? This: whether we please or whether we displease, we need to have no personal animosity toward others. The altar of faith is approached through peace and goodwill toward all. This goes back to David Hawkins' work, right? Be happy, be joyful. Don't let anybody in. You know what do they say about boats in water, right? It's not the boats float in water, but if the water gets in the boat instead of around the boat, it'll sink the boat, right? So you don't let it in. Be the boat, you know? We know how difficult it is to change our own life. But if we're the light, we shine. That's what we do. When we choose to be the light, we shine. And then other people will change in our presence. Right? Healers don't actually heal other people, they just shine. That's all we do. That's what the practitioners do. They shine and they direct the light out and they point other people to their own healing. There's a medicine woman's prayer, I love it. It says, I will not rescue you, for you are not powerless. I will not fix you, for you are not broken. I will not heal you, for I see you in your wholeness. I will walk with you through the darkness as you remember your own light. That's what healers do. That's what practitioners do. They point us to our own life. That's what we do here at Vision. Vision ministers and practitioners, we facilitate your healing through and beyond your own false or limiting beliefs so that you can experience your wholeness. That's what we do for each other here. So, what now? Yeah, so what now? What now? Everybody in this room, all of you listening, all my Vision friends listening online, we are part of that square root of that 1% of the population of the world. We are here to transform the world by our presence in it. So what now? What now? Ernest Holmes said this: peace stands at the door of your consciousness and awaits your acceptance of it. It does not stand outside waiting for entrance. It stands waiting to be expressed in everything you do. So what now? Go out and do it. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
All right, well, since I sing here more than anybody, I have more chances to, mess up the music, so please forgive me. But this is like, I tried to figure out how this would go with Patty's topic, and I'm listening, and I'm listening, I don't hearing anything. So, this is a song about dating. What? Yeah, right. I am at the opera when I don't like the opera, but he likes the opera and I like him. I follow the libretto, I follow the conductor. When I follow the plot, my head begins to spin. I don't understand a word, even when it's English. Everyone around me says this is divine. I am at the opera when I don't like the opera. It's a good thing he can't read my mind. Yes, that was a lovely note. So high and clear. Oh, and the costumes, yes, gorgeous. 7 more hours? Oh. Look at me, I'm skiing when I do not like skiing, but he likes skiing, and I like him. I rent the boots and poles, I shiver in the cold. I'm charging down a mountain, risking life and limb. There's no exhilaration, I am only feeling terrified, while everyone around me's having such a great time. I do not like skiing, but look at me, I'm skiing. It's a good thing he can't read my mind. Exhilarating, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Scared of heights? Oh, no, not me. I am not complaining, I'm just making observations. Expanding my horizons is a slow maturation. Now I tolerate cigars, cause he's a smoker. I'm playing chess, but I confess, sometimes I long for poker. I am eating sushi when I do not like sushi, but he likes sushi, and I like him. I'm poking with a chopstick at a living, breathing fish stick. Oh my God, I think it's starting to swim. Some say eating sushi is like chewing on your goldfish or swallowing a bucket full of tentacle slime. I am eating sushi, but I do not like sushi. It's a good thing he can't read my mind. Yes, interesting texture. No, it's not too fishy. Right? Where does it come from? So if you see me at a sushi bar, see me on the mezzanine, or see me on the ski slopes looking scared, don't feel sorry for me, I must be in love, or why in the hell else would I be here? Before I met him, life was dull, I never took any chances. Now I leap at every opportunity I find. I do not like sushi, I do not like skiing or the opera. Maybe I will in time. Maybe I will in time. Seconds? Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's too fun. We're just having way too much fun here, aren't we? Come on up, celebration singers. It is time for our conscious circulation. I do not like sushi. You're right. Wonderful. So this is our opportunity to give back to this place, to Vision, because I know there are many, many places that you can put your donations and tithes, and just know that if this is a place that feeds you spiritually, this is the appropriate place for your tithes and donations, and we absolutely accept them with joy and love in our hearts. The Core Council thanks you as well. Because it has been a challenging couple of years, where not everybody has come back. I know our Vision family they give also through the banks and through whatever, the electronic stuff. And we are so grateful for you as well. So I want you to keep that in your mind. If you in the room that are giving through checks or cash or whatever, or online as well, keep that in your mind. I want it to be a conscious thing. This is the thing about the spiritual practice of giving, is that it has to be conscious. You have to absolutely take into your heart this idea of the abundance of God. The giving and receiving, the being in the flow. So that's what I want us to do right now. So going within in prayer, knowing that Spirit is, and that we are that outpicturing of that life of Spirit. We are that. Whatever we think God is, all of the qualities, knowing that God is love, knowing that God is joy, God is abundance, God is wisdom, all of those qualities that we think of, that we attribute to Spirit, we know are as us. We know as us, because Spirit made everything out of itself, never being absorbed by its creations. We know that everything that God is flows through us and as us, right down to our molecular structure. We are God stuff. We are God stuff. So when we claim and know and affirm our abundance, when we stand in the river of God's abundance, open-handed and open-hearted, we know we receive gratefully, we give graciously, we stay in that flow of continuous return, eternal return. And so I give great thanks for all of the good that flows through Vision. I give thanks for all of the good that we receive and all of the good that we pass on, knowing it is all God, and so it is.
So it is.
Our celebration singers are the best. Thank you so much. Yeah, yay. Don't forget to email me your miracle minutes, your demonstrations of answered prayer. I don't have one this week, but I have got my email ready and willing and able to accept. So when those moments of answered prayer, those times when things just fall together, things you've been praying about happen, just dash off a little email to me, and I will be sure to share them with the group. It keeps us all motivated and in our prayer practice, because that's the big thing, is the practice. We have to practice the principles and prove them to ourselves. So now is the time for the last word by Captain America. Here's Captain.
Here to save Vision. That doesn't need saving, but I'm here anyway. Hello, everybody. I'm just a little less than the most wonderful woman in the world here, huh? So, hello everybody online as well. We are having our congregational theme Sunday, which means we're going to have some food right after our celebration right here. Join us for that. We're going to have some tables set up in the back, and the food that is brought will be shared. Thank you for everybody who brought food today for us. Thank you very much, and we're going to continue doing food on a weekly basis starting in August. We'll tell you more about those and dates. Vision virtual meet and greet is still available right after this celebration. We'll be here till about 11:55, right before our meeting. Join us for some get-together with our online community as well as practitioners for one-on-one prayer. Love to have you there. I'm saying a prayer for you too. Core Council, we are having a meeting right after this. Our annual meeting starts at 12 o'clock. We're going to be talking a little bit about what happened in the last year, as well as voting in our new Core Council member. We have both Cindy Britton and Rich Poser who are running for us, so thank you both of you for doing that for us. So we'll be doing that at 12 noon, and everybody online, if you're a member, you've got a link so you can join us for that as well. Coffee Connections still continue Monday through Friday, 8:30 in the morning. Join us for that. Links are available on the website. Reverend Patty's got her class called The Positive Side of the Street. It's kind of challenging to read through this little thing here. I'm doing this. So the positive side of the street, Reverend Patti has got her class. It's on Monday and Tuesday. And so Monday is right here in our space. Tuesday is online. There's still time to join Reverend Patti in that. This is the last week to join for that. So see Reverend Patti on that, or you can see the links available on the website. This Saturday, Jacob Glass will be right in here, our space with us. Jacob Glass, great. Man, he's going to be, tickets are available in the bookstore, or you can go online and purchase them. Jacob Glass, there will be no streaming for that, so join us for that. We start at 10 a.m. on Saturday. There's a couple other classes that are starting up in August. First, the Spiritual Economics. It's led by our own Ann DiNapoli. Ann, come on up and tell us a little bit about what we're doing. Yes, and this is going to be a 6-week class, right, Ann?
Yes, it is. And I love Reverend Patty's talk today. One of the things that is very clear to me is I was given 2 amygdalas and an ego. I'm not sure why God thought that was a good idea and to leave us on the planet unsupervised. Those things are protection, supposedly. So I love quantum physics. I love science of mind. They're so connected. Science has caught up with us, actually. And I loved it about the energy, because it's all about energy. And I love Eric Butterworth. He is suggesting that we not look for miracles, that we actually immerse ourselves in the field of abundance. And he also mentions in this book that it's too bad that sometimes new thought went into manifesting things. It's not just about things. It's about love and all of the qualities of God. And what if we were just meant to be joyful? What if it's only about being joyful? Because inside of joyful, you are a magnet for everything good. So we are having this class, and because my adopted daughter, Maria Flores, who is also a practitioner, is like a badger digging for information and techniques on how to control those physical parts of us that want to bring us down into the rabbit hole. I have lots of ideas and lots of things to help us practice staying in principle, because all of us have that moment. And I've noticed over time that my time spent in that first thought is less and less. And that's awesome. So I hope you all join, and we're going to have lots of fun. And I promise laughter. Lots of laughter and love and acceptance and all those good things that we have in classes. So that's it.
Thank you, Ann.
Yes.
And DiNapoli, and that's available on the website, as well as Lori Oberly Edwards has a book study starting up. There's 4 copies of the Butterworth book in the bookstore. That was a lot of B's. So, or you can get it online with Amazon or your favorite bookstore. Reverend Lori Overly Edwards has got a book study coming up, The Energy Codes. That's starting August 11th. I'll have more information about that, but you also can check the website and get you more details in regards to that. I want to mention that in August, we are going to have our Vision Variety Show. So, if you'd like to be a part of that, contact Eileen Hay or contact me and let me know that you'd like to be a part of it. We've got a few acts already, but we want to have a full show. So if you'd like to be a part of it, we'd love to have you sing, dance, magic tricks, whatever you want to do. No striptease, though. No. Sorry, Andy. Speaking of Andy, how about Andy Anderson today? Nicely done, Andy. He always does a fabulous job. Captain America approves. Next week, Reverend Patti Paris will be back. Her talk title is Everything is Relative. Everything's Relative. And we have our very own Vicki Krause who's going to be singing with us with the house band. I also want to give a big shout out to Mr. Michael Leslie and our group who put together our Wills and Trust program yesterday. It was very successful. We're going to probably do another one. That was a very informative workshop yesterday. Thank you, Micah, and our attorney here, and Reverend Gene Phillips. So thanks, guys, for that. Onward.
John's just happy we didn't put him in black pantyhose again. You remember the bees, right? You remember the bees? We are going to stand up now and we're going to say our affirmations. We're up there on the big screen. Yes, I love it. Okay, these affirmations are amazing. Remember affirmations, powerful, present tense, passionate, purposeful, all those P words? That's what these are. So let's say them together. I see through all physical and mental obstructions to the one perfect presence within me. I live in the completeness of this present moment. Now is my divine gift. I love two. Well, actually, all of them are really wonderful. But let's say 2 and 3, because it just seems like they flow together. I love it, okay? 2 and 3. I live in the completeness of this present moment. Now is my divine gift. Absolutely. Just breathe that in and know this is truth. Now is all we have. The I am is right here, right now within us. Right here, right now. And now is the only time in which we live. So I give great thanks for this now, and for this now, and for each moment that unfolds, knowing we are in the now in each one of them. I know this is where all our power presides. This is where all of our presence resides. This is where everything is in this present moment. We speak our word and say, I am, and everything after that is our affirmation. I am vibrant. I am dynamic. I am alive. I am a living, breathing embodiment of the divine. I know this for myself. I know this for each and every one of us here in this room. I know it for all life everywhere, because all life is some part of the whole life of God. Giving great thanks, I simply let it be, and so it is. So it is.